Welcome to the video replay for Double Up Trivia for November 15th, 2020. The actual live trivia event is every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/yearofglad. It takes about an hour to play. It's free to play, so come check it out. For this video, we're just going to go over the questions and answers. I'll give you one question, followed by the answer. You need more time after each question. Just go ahead and pause the video. And let's go ahead and get started with round number 1, which has 8 questions in it. Here's the first question in round number 1. What sandwich, consisting of a short baguette filled with meats such as pork sausage and vegetables such as cucumbers and pickled carrots, has a name that means bread in its native language? And the answer, that sandwich, is a banh mi, which in Vietnam are often eaten as a breakfast food or small snack. Round 1, question number 2. What performer, shown here, was awarded the National Order of Merit in 1998 and had a notable role in Mel Brooks' silent movie, although he is most famous for his work outside of film? And that performer is famous mime Marcel Marceau, who notably had the only speaking role in Mel Brooks' silent movie. Round 1, question number 3. Changing one letter in a word which describes diseases such as ALS and multiple sclerosis gives what 9-letter word which describes any book printed before 1500? And that 9-letter word is the word incunable. ALS and multiple sclerosis are currently incurable. Changing the R into an N gives the word incunable from the Latin for cradle, which refers more generally to the earliest stages of anything. Round 1, question number 4. What is the rank in the British peerage system, just below an earl and just above a baron, with a name that contains a silent S? And that rank is Viscount. Round 1, question number 5. In 1812 redistricting of Massachusetts under Governor Elbridge Gerry, a redistricting which benefited the Democratic-Republican Party resulted in a bizarrely shaped district with an outline resembling what specific animal? And that specific animal is a salamander. The modern word gerrymander is a portmanteau of Elbridge Gerry's last name, along with the change in pronunciation, and the word salamander. Round 1, question number 6. What word, coined by Robert Heinlein in a 1961 novel, when read backwards, spells the name of a Japanese company that manufactures musical instruments, as well as other electronic equipment like tuners and audio processors? And that Japanese company is Korg. The word coined by Robert Heinlein in Stranger in a Strange Land is grok. Round 1, question number 7. An epic poem about what king of Uruk likely influenced both the Iliad and Odyssey, and also shares elements with the Bible, including the Garden of Eden and the Genesis flood? That ancient epic poem is the Epic of Gilgamesh, who was likely a real ruler, who was deified and passed into legend sometime during the 3rd dynasty of Ur. And the last question for round number 1. There are 2 players with active streaks in the top 25 of the list of all-time consecutive regular season starts by an NFL quarterback. Each player has 6 letters in his last name. What are the last names of both players? And players in the trivia could answer this additional bonus question for 3 points. Both players played quarterback at what university? One from 2000 to 2003, the other from 2008 to 2010. And those 2 players with active streaks are Philip Rivers and Russell Wilson, and they both played quarterback at NC State, although Russell Wilson finished his college career at Wisconsin. That brings us to the speed round for this week, which is the swordplay round. In the swordplay round, teams get 3 pairs of clues, and the end of one of the answers in each pair begins the second answer in each pair, and I will tell you the number of overlapping letters, in other words, the number of letters that match from the end of the first answer to the beginning of the second answer. And then also teams will be given a category, and when they take all those overlapping letters, they can rearrange them to make a member of the category. This week's category was national parks. And the first clue, symbol, which originated as a ligature of the letters of the Latin word et, plus member of Nicaragua's Socialist Political Party. And those two answers have 4 overlapping letters, so the last 4 letters of the answer for the symbol are the first 4 letters of the answer for a member of Nicaragua's Socialist Political Party. Question number 2, fictional Honolulu police detective, created as an alternative to yellow peril stereotypes, plus 7th largest tire company in the world, based in Seoul. And this one has 3 overlapping letters. And then the last clue for swordplay this week, historical 1819 novel by Sir Walter Scott, plus American folk dance, popular in Appalachia, with its namesake music often played rapidly on a fiddle. And another 3 overlapping letters, and again, if you take all, in this case, 10 overlapping letters, rearrange them, you get the name of a national park. So let's go ahead and, again, pause if you need more time, but let's go ahead and take a look at the answers for this week's swordplay round. The symbol which originated as a ligature is ampersand, and Sandinista is a member of Nicaragua's Socialist Political Party, and the 4 overlapping letters are S-A-N-D. The fictional Honolulu police detective was Charlie Chan, and the 7th largest tire company in the world is Hankook Tires. And the historical 1819 novel by Sir Walter Scott is Ivanhoe, and pair that with the hoedown. And if you take the 10 letters S-A-N-D, H-A-N, and H-O-E and rearrange them, you get the National Park of Shenandoah. So that's this week's swordplay round. Trivia continues with round number 2, which works exactly the same as round number 1. Here's question number 1. The burning of objects that might entice a person to sin is commonly known by what 4-word phrase used in the title of a 1990 film and the 1987 book from which it was adapted? And that 4-word phrase is Bonfire of the Vanities, which often refers to a 1497 incident in which Dominican friars burned cosmetics, books, mirrors, fine clothes, playing cards, and musical instruments. Round 2, question number 2. What 17-letter philosophical movement was satirized in Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Blithedale Romance, which takes place on a utopian farming community? And there are not a whole lot of 17-letter philosophical movements. This one is Transcendentalism. Edgar Allan Poe, also not a fan of referring to Transcendentalists as Frogpondians. Round 2, question number 3. The process by which a corporation restructures such that the parent company becomes a subsidiary of a foreign company, usually in an effort to avoid taxation, is known as a tax blank. What word, also used in music theory, fills in the blank? And that word is inversion. So Apple Incorporated participated in a tax inversion, setting up 2 companies based in Ireland. And in music theory, a chord inversion is one in which a note other than the root note of a chord is played as the bass note. Round 2, question number 4. A famous quote from Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart's opinion in Jacobellis v. Ohio, a case involving the Louis Malle film The Lovers, contains the word it twice. In the opinion, what does the word it refer to? And that quote is, I'll know it when I see it, and the it refers to pornography. Round 2, question number 5. What last name is shared by a fictional ivory trader who dies of jungle fever, and an actress who, in addition to her work on television, won Tony Awards for 5th of July and The House of Blue Leaves? And that fictional ivory trader was from Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness and also Apocalypse Now. That was Colonel Walter Kurtz, and the actress is Swoosie Kurtz, who starred in Sisters on television, among other credits. Round 2, question number 6. What word, which begins with 4 consecutive consonants, describes spirits of the underworld, particularly those from Greek mythology, such as Persephone and Hades? That word is chthonic, and the name of H.P. Lovecraft's creation Cthulhu was an allusion to the word chthonic. Round 2, question number 7. What was the name of the group of English workers who destroyed the machinery they used as a form of protest against textile manufacturers, a name which has a similar connotation when used today? Those English workers were the Luddites, and the origin of the term Luddite is uncertain. First referred to a fictional person, and then that person evolved into King Lud, who lived in Sherwood Forest along with Robin Hood. Round 2, question number 8. What former U.S. Senator from Ohio, who also served as the 6th Chief Justice of the United States and as Secretary of the Treasury, appears on a no longer printed bill in honor of his introduction of paper currency in the United States? And that person, one of the few people to serve in all 3 branches of government, was Salmon P. Chase. His likeness appeared on the $10,000 bill, printed from 1928 to 1946. The last round in Double Up Trivia is round 3. In round 3, players and teams get 8 questions usually, and they have to answer 5 of them, and their answers are scored based on how difficult or how rarely their answers were given. So the rarer the answer, the more points it is worth. So this week's round 3, the 8 answers to the clues on the following page all have a connection to the same musical group. What are 5 of the 8 answers? Here are the 8 clues. Again, go ahead and pause the video. We'd like to take some time to work out what those are, and remember that the answers are all connected to the same musical group. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 8 answers for this week's round 3. The Thomas Hardy character who has big ambitions but never achieves greatness is Jude the Obscure. The mascot for sports teams from Butler, Drake, and Yale, those are all the Bulldogs or Bulldog. The namesake of the demon who controls a door in a scientific thought experiment, that is Maxwell's demon, named after James Clerk Maxwell. The nickname of the ruler who persecuted the Huguenots, that was the Sun King. The character shown here, that is Colonel Mustard from the board game Clue. The only film in which George Lazenby portrayed James Bond was On Her Majesty's Secret Service. The Puerto Rican actor who starred with Angelica Houston. Those films were Addams Family and Addams Family Values, and that actor was Raul Julia. And finally, the style of mustache worn by Wilford Brimley, Sam Elliott, and golfer Craig Stadler. Stadler was known as the Walrus, and that is a walrus mustache. And the theme, they are all references to Beatles songs, from Hey Jude to I Am the Walrus. So that finishes this week's Double Up Trivia. Again, the live event is every Sunday at 7 p.m. at twitch.tv/yearofglad. So feel free to sign on. Join us. We start promptly at 7 o'clock. It takes about an hour to play. It is free to play. There are no prizes, but come on, hang out, have some fun. Thanks for watching.